Friends, would you like to learn how to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in honor of his birthday today? I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher, and I've got 8 tips to share with you today. Number 1 tip, how to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is do your research. Some people like to try to skip this step and just wing it, but did you know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he passed away, they found 800 handwritten index cards where he had kept very careful notes, meticulously organized. Number 2 way to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., read, right? If you want to be a writer, it really helps to be a good reader. Reading stimulates your brain, it stimulates your curiosity. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. actually had more than 1,000 books in his library. How many books are in your library, friends? Number 3 way to learn to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., find help. I think that the stereotype of the writer is this lonely person whiling away, typing in some deserted attic somewhere, probably a little hungry because there's no food in the fridge. That's what we see on TV, right, friends? Well, did you know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who really we think of him as a great orator, but if you think about it, he was also a really gifted writer. But he actually, on occasion, hired speechwriters to help him. And so what could you do to hire help to accelerate your writing process and bring your authorship dreams to life sooner? Could you hire an intern to help you with some research? Could you hire an editor to help you polish your books? Could you hire someone like me to help you as a writing coach? You can find me in real life at brightcommunications.net. And of course, don't forget, you can hire an independent publisher to do all the steps to publishing that you might need. Number 4 way to learn to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., request and use feedback. He was actually known for this, and sometimes I think artistic people like us have thin skins, and I have to tell you, friends, we have to get over that, because the only way to get better is to ask for, receive, review, and actually act on that feedback. I often suggest finding people to give you feedback who are kind and who are not have like an axe to grind, and don't ask your curmudgeonly old uncle to review your work. It's often great to ask other writers, but again, even be careful, because sometimes they might be motivated not to be kind and supportive of your work. But try to find people whose feedback you trust and you appreciate and that you will act upon. Number 5 way to learn to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., include story and metaphor. And this applies even if you're writing nonfiction, friends. We as human beings love to hear about other human beings. And so even if you're writing a book about some medical situation or topic, throw in some stories, throw in some anecdotes, even throw in some metaphors. It really helps. It's kind of like the spoonful of sugar approach, right? Spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. And so Dr. Martin Luther King always included stories, even if they were hypothetical stories, and many, many, many metaphors. If you look at his I Have a Dream speech, for instance, you'll find lots of beautiful metaphors. Number 6 way to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., be clear. Sometimes people have a tendency to overwrite and perhaps show off their vocabulary, show off their grammar skills, and sometimes the words and the sentences get to be so convoluted they really become paragraphs. Well, if you look at Dr. Martin Luther King's published works, and did you know he published 5 books, you will find immense clarity. Clarity is the best communication. You want to be clear, you want to be simple. Another way to learn to write like Dr. Martin Luther King is be prolific. Just write. Embrace your love of writing. Write anything. Journal. Try your hand at some poetry. Write down your stories. Write down your memories. Write down your ideas. Just put pencil to paper, fingers to keys, voice to audio. Just write. Did you know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had more than 10,000 journals, notes, and notebooks? 10,000. That's incredible. And as I said, he authored 5 books. And so the more you write, just like anything, the more you write, the better you get. Last but not least, way to write like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is to use the strategy of repetition. I think you all probably know, especially if you have children, you have to say about 1 million times, look both ways before you cross the street, look both ways before you cross the street. And approximately at the 678th time, it starts to sink in. And so if you look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s works, you will find skillful use of repetition. And you don't have to look far. In his I Have a Dream speech, do you know he said, I have a dream in the first 8 paragraphs? What you might not know, and I was surprised to learn, is later he uses the phrase, let freedom ring 6 times. And so people crave repetition and rhythm. Our whole life is based on, think of the rhythm of your heartbeat. And so rhythm is soothing, but rhythm is also a call to action. And so be like Dr. Martin Luther King and use a little bit of rhythm and repetition in your work. Well, friends, that's all for now. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. It's my goal to help you achieve your goal of becoming an author. I would love to see you on Amazon someday. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.